Yeah.
So you start growing up in the church, you start getting involved in ministry. When does that convert to wanting to serve God full time?
It was at 16, so I was 16, and it was actually here in Queensland. My
Okay.
pastor, yeah, my pastor used to take us to a massive conference here every summer. It was stinking hot, like we would sweat through our clothes, and regardless of air conditioning in the auditorium, we would just sweat it out. It was bad, but the preaching was also hot. Like it was just the preaching just got to you. And the last night of the first conference I came to hear, I remember coming forward and just surrendering my life to the Lord for his service. I knew right there that God wanted me to be a preacher. I don't know what that meant, whether it was going to be a pastor, evangelist, missionary, whatever, but I just knew God had me. And so that was sort of the start of the journey towards full-time ministry, serving God with my life. And again, I just had parents who paid for me to travel here. I had a pastor who's willing to drive a church bus 16 hours. Back then, the highways weren't so great.
Yeah.
So 16 hours to get us to a conference where the preaching was what it needed to be. So all of those people coming together, wanting to serve the Lord and having a vision for the young people, I think that's the fruit of it.
That's
It wasn't,
awesome.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't me. A lot of our friends, I know a lot of my friends surrendered, and my wife as well. She surrendered at the same conference to serve the Lord. So
That is awesome. And it really does show how much of an impact everyone within the church has on a
yeah,
person's life. It's not just the family member, it's not just the pastor. Sometimes it's just that older brother that says, hey, why don't you try this ministry, or why don't you come to this conference?
yeah,
That's huge. That is
yeah.
huge. And okay, so you finish school,
Mhm.
you start getting into things. How do you actually join the ministry?
Yeah, it's funny because I think here in Australia we don't really have there's no pathway.
No.
You know, I think I spoke to you about this a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Here in Australia, you sort of just have to follow the Lord and make your own path.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 16, didn't know what it was. I came to my pastor and I told him, look, I'm called to preach. What do I do? I'm assuming that he was going to tell me to go to Bible college. And he just told me, look, be faithful. I'm going to give you opportunities. And then when I finished high school, he basically offered me an internship.
Well,
He said, look, I don't want you to go to the US. He goes, I don't want you to go to Bible college. I want you to train under me. Just follow me around. I'll give you a course of study personally. And he did that. I read, I don't know how many books that he had assigned to me. And at the same time, I wanted to honor my parents, and my dad was very big on education, typical Asian dad.
of course.
Um, and so he made me go to uni, and I didn't want to do that. I did an accounting degree, an economics degree, and around the same time, the church, Southland, uh, actually pastor at the time, he wanted our church to start a Christian school.
Okay.
And because I was going through and getting a degree, that allowed me to then add on a dip ed kind of thing. And so that allowed me to then sort of start to work towards starting this Christian school. And yeah, that was really my introduction to full-time ministry. So my pastor started to just, he gave me a role as a school administrator slash youth director. And, I started working on that. I had no idea how to start a school. I was only 20, 21.
So you're starting a school at 21 years of age.
Yeah, no teaching experience.
Wow.
And just me praying and then seeking others who had done it for a long time, guys from Condell Park, back then Alawera, which is now ACC in Marsden Park. And we started what was Bethany Christian School. And just by the grace of God, through a bit of hard yakka, got the documentation and we got approved to start a Christian school. So I was the school administrator. And then also I was teaching some classes as I was trying to get my diploma in education. And then I was also the youth director of the church at the time. And so, yeah, life suddenly became busy. Life was full of that. I was also, I was dating Azariah at that point. And
So
we were just,
Sorry, when did you start dating her?
I was 22. Yeah.
Okay. So
So it was about
you're in the thick of it.
yeah, everything was happening.